Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the US, which is 11 AM in Australia or 1 AM if you're in the UK. Remember though, if you missed the live streams, you can normally catch up with the preview event catch-up streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 PM Pacific time in the US, which is 8 AM in Australia or 10 PM if you're in the UK. I say usually because when I went to upload my video yesterday, Twitch were having problems. The video wasn't showing up. It did show up this morning when I checked my dashboard, so the Friday Premiere catch-up stream will go ahead, and after today's stream I'll try and upload today's Premiere catch-up event and we'll see if that one goes through. I'll let you guys know on Twitter if it does or doesn't. Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow before I post to Twitter because it did take a day for it to show up in my video producer on Twitch. So maybe Twitch is just being a little bit slow at the moment in processing videos. But I hope all you guys and girls are well. We've finished doing all of our work in UE4. We're going to be jumping into Premiere Pro now to put our cinematic together. For those that don't know, I'm making a cinematic using the Unreal Engine 4. So we've set up all the cameras, I've saved them out as PNG files, and then I took that image sequence into Premiere and I put together short MP4s of each of the video sections, each of the camera shots. We have 73 camera shots. We have 4.5 minutes worth of video that we have to work with, so we're going to have to be selective as to what shots we use. We're not going to be able to use them all. There's going to be too much. But I'd rather have too much than too little when it comes to video footage for video editing. So that's the plan of action. Just checking on a couple of things over here. Remember, if you've got any questions or anything you're not sure about, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If I can help in any way, I'm happy to try. If you just want to pop in and say hello, that's always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that is completely fine. We did create the three last cameras yesterday in UE4. I'll just wait a few minutes for any stragglers to pop into the stream before we review them. Normally we review cameras on a Monday stream, but because we're not going to be doing any more work in UE4 and we're jumping into Premiere now, I'll review those 3 cameras from yesterday today. And we'll do that in just a second. So, do remember too, if you're not a subscriber, don't post links in Twitch chat, but everyone is free to post links on the Discord server. Android Lust, it's good to see you. Straggler here, good day everyone. Yes, well, better late than never, Android Lust, that's the important thing. I hope you're well. Everything's going good for you. Sorry you couldn't make the stream yesterday, but that's cool. I understand if you guys have lives and you can't watch the stream, that's fine. But it's good to see you, Android Lust. So yes, we finished working on the cameras yesterday. You can watch the catch-up stream of that on Friday if you missed it and you want to. Or if you're a subscriber, you can always jump into the videos section on my Twitch page and you can watch it at your leisure whenever you want. But only subs can actually access the videos on my Twitch page. But I upload my videos to YouTube, so if you miss it on Twitch, you can always watch it on YouTube. But it's delayed because I'm an affiliate. I can't upload immediately. It's in the contract I signed with Twitch. But it will go on YouTube eventually, so never fear. Alright. Let's jump in and look at the cameras from yesterday. Now, we had our bunny cams and they didn't turn out well. There's not a problem with the camera work, it's the animation on the mesh. And again, I didn't do the animation, so don't blame me. The animation is really not great. Whoever animated it, again, this bunny is an asset I purchased from the UE4 marketplace. And whoever the original author of the bunny was, who did the animation, it's probably okay for a distance shot, but it's certainly not good for what we want. But we can work with it. We can probably edit around the video footage in some way. But I'll show you what I mean. So shot 71 is where we got up to, which is this shot here. I'll just let that play through. You see what I mean here if I go full screen? The animation of the bunnies is very... even the way they turn, they look like they're turning on sticks. And the get up and get down animations are very rough and ready. We can probably work around it though, like I said, by just editing the footage in some way, shape or form. So yeah, we'll get around that. Like when they're in the grass, they're fine. It's just when they get up and get down, they look a bit strange. So we can use the footage where they're sort of eating on the ground. And we can maybe use a bit of the footage where they stand up. We'll just have to edit it. This is a close-up shot of those bunnies. So again, I'll probably cut it where he just looks around, and then I'll cut back to them being on the grass eating. And again, I don't want to disparage the artists that created the bunnies and the animation. I mean, I'm sure they're probably not meant to be seen this close. But yeah, the way they hop up and they hop down and they sort of spin around, their head doesn't turn around, they sort of spin their whole body around when they look around. Android Lust says, well, for a horror game, the animations would be good. And yeah, and again, the person that created the assets probably never intended for them to be viewed this close. I'm assuming they meant the rabbits to be like at a distance, and at a distance they'd probably be okay. And their eating animation when they're on the grass is fine. It's just when they stand up and they look around, they look like they're propped up on a stick, and the stick is sort of spinning around as they look. Yeah. And the get up and get down animation is pretty rough and ready. So, Smurfberry Barbecue. It's good to see you, Smurfberry. Smurfberry says, hey, look, it's Ted Does 3D. So, yes, our bunny animation's not great. But again, don't blame me. I didn't animate these. I only animated that eagle. We'll use it in some way, shape or form. We can make use of anything if we edit it right in Premiere Pro. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're not going to be doing any more work in... I have to stop this animation. This is so funny. We're not going to be doing any more work in UE4. We're going to be jumping into Premiere Pro to put the final cinematic together. So let's look at yesterday's last camera shot, which is the shot of the building. This is the shot we're going to finish the cinematic on. We're just doing a slow pan and finishing looking at the building side on. So starting animation will be the main gate, ending animation will be this shot. Now I'm going to be using, I'm piping through my audio to OBS, and I don't generally do that via the capture card because normally I play music like I am at the moment. So if there's any problem with the audio that you hear, let me know, guys and girls. Smurfberry says, I might stick with the eating animation. Yeah, that's what I'm just what I'm going to do, Smurfberry. Great minds think alike. Yeah, I'm going to stick to just the eating animation probably. I might cut to a quick shot of where the bunny's standing up and looks around, maybe a 3-second shot or something. But the eating animations will be fine. Yes, the audio. If there's a problem with the audio, let me know, because like I said, I don't generally pump the audio from my capture card over to OBS on my second stream machine because I play music. And yeah. Good evening, Sniper Echo. It's good to see you, buddy. How are you? Smurfberry was talking about his workflow for what he's trying to do using his photogrammetry stuff, and it sounds really interesting. You guys and girls, jump on Discord and check out how Smurfberry Barbecue is planning on doing that, because it does sound really cool. I'll be interested to see, Smurfberry, what the result is after you've done it. So make sure you pop an image in Discord. It sounds like a great idea to create a library of stuff that you can reuse quickly. Yeah, well, record a video, Smurfberry. That'd be even better. Record a video of it. That would be cool if you could do that, and pop a link in Discord so we can all check it out, because it does sound like a really interesting workflow and it could be really useful for a lot of people. Greebles, they're sort of like, they can either be alpha maps or displacement maps or even meshes. that you create a library of that you can reuse over and over again to sort of like detail up your model really quickly. And that's sort of a similar thing to what Smokeberry is doing. He's using a photogrammetry object that he made of a tree trunk in this example to create a greebly that he can reuse. So it's just getting it from that high-res photogrammetry object into something that you can reuse over and over again that is a challenge, or could be a challenge. But his workflow sounds very cool, and I will be interested to see the result. It is interesting, Sniper, I agree. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's something I haven't actually done myself either. I don't generally work when I'm detailing up a model. Maybe it's because of the sort of models I work on. Let me correct that. I do have a library of plaster moldings and things that I use in interiors, or occasionally use in interiors. So I do have a library of objects that I can detail up the interior of a building relatively quickly. So correct myself, I actually do use something similar to that. But I've not used any photogrammetry stuff to create a library of objects. No, that could be really cool. Okay, so we are going to jump into Premiere Pro. And here it is here. Now I'm going to pause my music because I need to hear the audio. You guys want to hear the audio. So I'm going to pause the music. And I'm going to put my earbuds in as well because I need to be able to hear. And I generally, when I work, when I stream to you guys, I don't hear anything. I don't listen to my own music or anything because I don't like wearing headphones while I'm streaming. And even though I do have some wireless headphones, I've just got to find the R and the L here, which one is which. I'm not going to put them on. I'm going to use my earbuds because my wireless headphones tend to block out all audio, and I could end up getting really loud or really soft when I talk. That's the other reason I don't wear headphones, because I need to be able to gauge how loud my voice is for you. And that could cause a problem with the earbuds as well, but not as much as the headphones would. So if I get too loud or too soft, boys and girls, do let me know in Twitch chat, and I'll modify my voice. Now, which way is which? These earbuds, they're Sennheiser earbuds, and they've got an L and an R printed on them, but it's really tiny. Okay, I think I see it there. So I think this is the right, and this will be the left. So I'm going to pop them in because I need to be able to hear the audio as I'm editing the video. And you guys should be able to hear it as well because it's being pumped through to OBS. So, but it does block my voice a little bit. So if I get too loud or too soft, let me know. All right. I think what we might do is let's start with listening to the soundtrack that we're going to be putting to the cinematic, because you guys haven't heard it yet. I know what it is, but I'll play it and tell me if you have any problems hearing it. And I'll shut up while it plays too. So we have three different audio tracks, three different music tracks that are about 1.5 minutes long each. This is the first 1.5 minute bit. This is the entire track mixed together, but So we're going to hear it change to a new track any minute now. This music is about when we were around that pond area. Smurfberry says this isn't dubstep. I was told there would be dubstep. I'm writing a letter of complaint. No dubstep. Initially, I was going to use EDM music, but I decided this fitted the shots better. So we'll be inside the building now. And in about 10 seconds, the music will change to the third track. I wanted something a bit more epic sounding for the very last bit of the cinematic. So are audio levels okay for you guys? Not too loud, not too soft? The music is soft and I'm loud. Okay, let me fix that. Is that better? Is that better, Smurfberry Barbecue? Okay. So we have our music track, and you can see I've got a few sound effects as well that we're going to be mixing in as part of the cinematic. But first thing is first, we're going to jump back into Premiere and we're going to start organising our project before we do anything. So I'm going to create a new bin, and I'm going to call a bin is just a folder really. Premiere, call it a bin. We're going to call this one music. So I want to keep everything nice and organised, and that way we won't get lost. And I'm going to import our music track. Okay, good. I'm using WAV for everything as well. .wav. You can use an MP3, but an MP3 is already compressed. A WAV file will give you better quality audio. Let's create another new bin and call it sound effects. And let's bring in all of our sound effects. So we've got bird song, blowing leaves, building wind. I'll bring in the creaking gate, but I don't know if I'll use it. We've got crystal chandelier sound. I've got 2 eagle calls. I'm not sure which one I'll end up using. We've got wind flaps for the bird, for the eagle. We've got some frogs. We've got a metal creaking sound as well. I may use it or I may not. We have tree wind and wind gusts for the interior. Okay. Now I'm going to create another new bin. I'm just going to call this one graphics. And in this one, now we did save out all of our footage with letterbox, which is cool. But I'm going to add a letterbox PNG image on the top of everything anyway, just to make sure. So if I go into my shots folder, you can see this letterbox.png. It's just a black bar at the top and the bottom. Okay, let's create another new bin. And we're going to break up our shot tracks into different sections within the environment. So the first section will be the gate. So we'll make this one gate. I'm just going to rename this one gate video, just so I know it's a video bin. And let's bring in all of our shots that are around about the front of the gate. So shot 1 and shot 1 close up, which is the eagle, shot 2, shot 3, shot 4. Okay, they're at the actual outside of the gate. Again, I'm just going to double check that by briefly opening up these shot tracks before I import them. That's what I should be doing to make sure that they are correct. So shot 1, that's right, that's the eagle landing. Shot 1 close up should be a close up of the eagle, yep. Shot 2, yep, that's where we're pulling in close to the gate. Shot 3, that's where we just pull in at a different angle on the gate. And shot 4, which is when we're actually going through the gate, I believe. Yep. Okay. So shot 5 onwards is actually when we're going down the path, yeah. So let's create a new bin. We're going to call this one path video. Just trying to decide if I'm going to break up the path video into 2 pieces. Path video. I probably will, because yeah, we'll break it up a little bit. Let's import these video shots for along the path though. So from shot 5, shot 6, again I'm just checking these to make sure that's where we go down the tree. We're in the path still. Shot 7, yep, we're still in the path. Shot 8, yep, still in the path. Shot 10, I don't know what happened to shot 9, still in the path. Looks like I missed a couple of shots here, so even though it says we're up to set camera shot 73, I know I missed 2, so we really only need about 71 shots. Shot 11, yeah, we're still on the path. Shot 12, we got a lot of path shots. Still on the path. 13. 13, we're up to the first, I don't know what you'd call this. So 13, still in the path. Shot 14. Shot 14, we're coming up to the main terrace. Yeah, terrace, that's the word I'm looking for. Shot 15, I think we're sort of at the terrace. Yeah, we are. So we're going to go from shot 5 up to shot 14. So shot 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Trust me, organising yourself properly at the beginning will save you a lot of headache later on when you start working with all different video files and sound effects. Okay, so let's create a new bin and call it main terrace. And that one is going to be from shot 15. What's shot 16? 16 is still the terrace. 17 is the terrace. 18 is the terrace. 19 is the terrace. 20 is the terrace. We got a lot on the terrace. And 21 is actually leaving the terrace. I believe it starts to move toward the steps. Yep. So we want to go up to shot 21 from shot 15. So 15 to 21. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. All right. And now we're going to create a new bin, and this one's going to be the pond. I just realised I forgot to put video at the end of main terrace, so I'm just going to do that. So now the pond area. So that'll be from shot 22. Yep. 23. Yep. 24. Yep. 25. Yep. 26. 26 is the terrace again, so we're going to go from shot 22 to 25, and then we'll come back into the terrace. So shot 22, 23, 24, 25 are the pond. No problems, Android Lust. You had to do something. That's cool. Yeah, so we're going to go back into the terrace folder because we have a couple that that were out of sequence in the numbering that we need to add. So shot 26 is the terrace. Again, I'm just going to double check this before I add them. So 26 is, now 27 is also the terrace, but I don't think we're going to use this shot because it's really bad, not a bad camera angle, but it could make the viewer feel a little ill because we're sort of spinning the camera around. I'll bring it in, but I don't think I'll use it. So that's shot 27. I don't think we'll need to use it because we've got so much footage, but just for the sake of making everything complete, I will bring it in. Shot 28, which one is this? Okay, this is the terrace as well. So let's bring that one in. Shot. 28. And I think that's it for the terrace though. I did create quite a few cameras for the terrace because it's like a large part of the environment at the beginning. So, and let's jump back and check what we've got going on now. I think then we move into the building. Yep. So let's create a new bin and make it building. I'm going to separate the building into front and back. So we're going to call this one front building. So we go from shot 29, shot 30. Shot 30 is the building as well. Shot 31 is the building. 32 is also the building. 30. See, I missed shot 33. We jump up to 34. I don't know where. I must have just forgotten to do a shot 33. 34 is still the building. And 35 is the building. I think after 35 we move inside the building. 35 is the other side of the building. Still at the front though. And then we get to the DS. So we go up to shot 36 from shot 29. Smurfberry says, this is the part where a good naming convention makes everything better. That's exactly right. That's why we want to make sure when we're doing video editing or any sort of editing or anything really, it helps with everything. That if everything is nice and organized for you at the beginning, it's going to make your life 100 times easier when you're sort of halfway into the project. Trust me. Just like naming your Photoshop layers is really important because it helps you then. If you need to change anything, making sure you're organized when you do your video editing is also really important. It will save you a lot of time in the long run, make your workflow much easier. So shot 29, shot 30. I've already forgotten what shot 30 was. Isn't that terrible? Short-term memory loss. Let me just check what shot 30 is again. Yep, no, shot 30 is still the building. Okay. So shot 29, shot 30, shot 31, 32, 34, 35, 36, which is the side of the building. Okay. I've noticed Chrome can be sometimes a bit temperamental. Maybe it's because I updated it to version 70. It's really, the new version of Chrome is, I've noticed when I've been surfing some web pages, it's been giving me some trouble. Oh, Google. Okay, so after the front of the building, we're going to create one which is going to be for the deer. So let's create a folder, a new bin called deer. Video. And they should be easy enough to find. It's going to be shot 37, shot 38. Why do I have 3 shots of the deer? Just let me check that again. Should only be 2 shots of the deer, not 3. What's shot 37? Oh no, shot 37 is actually a pan to the side of the building, so it should go on the building folder. I believe, yep. But I'm going to put this in the building folder for the back of the building because we're more toward the back, so I'll wait for that one. So not shot 37, but shot 38 and 39 for the deer. So many shots. That's right. That's why we need to be organised, because we have so many shots. Okay, after the deer, we get to... Now we start entering the building, I believe. So shot 40 is... Yep. Now, you could put that in the building shot, but most of the... I'm probably going to cut this shot from here on. So it'll start here. So it's actually the building interior for this one. But I'm going to break the building up as well. I'm not just going to put everything under the building folder. I'm going to say new bin. We're going to call this one interior front hall, interior lower front hall. Cutting it out. I'm going to rename this so I can see it more easily and it doesn't get sort of cut out because it's too long. So INT for interior. No, I said INT. Front hall. We'll call it entry. Let's call it interior entry. That'll be easier. Entryway. I'm doing it this way so I just don't have a whole heap of videos just in one, on my one shot track. I can break everything up. Sorry, Andrew Doss, that says how much storage are the shots taking up? Let's have a look. I actually have never looked. So far the shots are taking up 14.7 gigabytes. So almost 15 gigabytes. I'm imagining the final video, once it's edited together, is probably going to be between 5 and 10 gigabytes, I imagine, because I'm going to save it out at a high bit rate, 60 megabits a second. Yeah, no, not 1.88 gigabytes. Yeah, so just under 15 gig worth of shots, and between 5 and 10 gig will be the final size of the cinematic at a guesstimate. So the interior entryway, I think we've probably got 3 shots, but let me check. So shot 40. Yeah, shot 40 will be 1. Shot 41 will be 1. Shot 42 will also be 1. And shot 43 is where we leave the hallway, but I'll count this shot as part of the entry hallway. So from shot 40 to shot 43. Shot 40, 41, 42, and 43. Okay, so from the hallway, let's create a new bin, and we're going to call this one main stairs, main stairway, main stairway. Again, I'm just going to preface it with INT for interior. It's interesting because we had a question yesterday about how you would go about organising stuff when you're working on... The question was about textures and stuff, but similar sort of thought process goes into what we're doing now by breaking everything up into individual folders, which is what I said yesterday to you, that when I say about models, like when we made the house in the hollow, each object had its own folder, like the couch had a folder, a chair had its own folder, a table had its own folder, everything was in its own folder, and I found that the easiest way for me to find stuff and to work. So shot 44 will be the stairs, main stairs, yes. Shot 45, we're still in the stairwell, yes. Shot 46, now we're upstairs, I think. Shot 45, shot 46. I think shot 47, though, is the stairs still. No, shot 47 is upstairs. Okay, so we have shot 44, 45. I thought we had one more shot. Maybe not. Yeah, it's shot 43. No. So 44 and 45. I could have sworn we had another shot. Just let me play these shots through in their entirety to refresh my memory as to what shots I had. No, I think that's right. I think we did only have 2 shots for here. Yep. So 44 and 45. Yeah, this is the one I think where we go. Yeah, yep. I thought we had a shot where we were high looking down the stairs. It's this shot. We'll edit this shot. So 44 and 45. You heard a squeak, Smurfberry? That sounded like a... What squeak did you hear? I didn't hear anything. Not my chair that you heard? Let me know though. Like I said, this is the first time I've actually started passing the audio out via my capture card. I normally don't need to because I play music, but there's no parrot in my house. Is that what you're hearing? Sounds like a bird. Is it all the time or is it just occasionally? Or just trying to work out. It may be too because I'm passing my audio via an audio repeater so that while it gets sent to OBS, it's also getting sent to my headphones. It was just that one time. It could be when the videos load in because I'm running an audio repeater in software to send audio to OBS as well as my headphones because you can't, Windows by default, you can only play audio on one device, but I need it to go on 2 devices because of my headphones as well as OBS. And because that's running in software, it could be when the videos are loading in. If I was to guess, that would be my guess. It's just that the audio repeater is just having a bit of a problem, a brief problem while it loads these videos in. Now you made me forget where I am. Shot 44 and 45, that's right. But let me know if it gets too bad though, because I can up the priority on the repeater. Okay, so we have the entryway, the main stairway, and then we're going to go to shot 46. I'm going to call this the ballroom, even though it's not a ballroom. I'm calling it the ballroom. It's the upstairs section. So that's the ballroom. 47 is the ballroom. Yes. 48. We're leaving the ballroom in 48. So this will be part of the front hallway, the upper front hallway. But I know I have a couple of other shots, or at least one other shot of the ballroom when we leave the front hallway, we come back through the ballroom. So no, not that one. Not that one. This one, I think. Yeah, we leave the front hall and we come back in through the ballroom to get to the central stairwell. So this shot will be part of the ballroom. Shot 52, I believe we're in the central stairwell. Yep. So shot 51 and shots... I think we start with shot 45. Yeah, no. 46. 46, okay. So a new bin, INT for interior, ballroom. So it's going to be shot 46, 47, not 48 or 49 or 50, and then we go to 51. Yeah, if you hear a squeak, it'll be like now when it's loading the videos in. Okay, so now let's create another new bin. Oh no, I don't want to import like that. And we're going to call this int for interior underscore upper. I can either call it the upper hallway or I can call it the bay window room. No, I'll call it upper hallway. Smurfberry says no, it was definitely microphone input, not stereo mix. You reckon? I don't know what it could have been, unless it was my chair maybe squeaking. Although you would have thought that you would have heard that on my other streams that was the problem because I use the same chair. I don't know. My apologies if it was a squeak that hurt your ears or was unpleasant. We're going to call it upper hallway because there is only one upper hallway and that's at the front, so I don't need to call it front. Okay, and for that one, we're going to be importing. Shot 48, I think is where we go into that room. Yes. So 48, 49. Yes. 50. Yes. 51, I think, is where we leave that room. So we'll put that as part of the hall, yep. So it's from shot 48, 49, and 50. So shot 48, 49, and 50. Yeah, that's right. All right, and then from there we start, we're inside the central stairwell, I think. So 50 was where we were leaving. No, 50 was inside, okay. 51 was where we were leaving, so 52 is the central stairwell, yep. 53 is also the central stairwell. 54, central stairwell. 55. Andrew Loss says it wasn't unpleasant, at least for me. I just never heard a bird like squeak while you were streaming before. It may have been a bird and maybe I didn't hear it because I've got these headphones in, or these earbuds in, but my kitchen window is open, so there might have been a bird squeak that I couldn't hear that my microphone picked up because the mic's more sensitive than my ears are. So it's possible. It's possible it was a bird. And I just didn't hear it because I'm half deafened by these earbuds. So you guys may be right. It may have been a bird after all. Okay, 56. Now, 56 is where we're downstairs. So I'm not going to add that as part of the central stairwell. So we're going to go from 52 to 55. Interior, central stairs, that'll do. And what did I say? What did I say? 52, I think, 52, 53, 54, 55. Yep. All right. So now we're going to the downstairs. So we're downstairs now. So 56 is that, I'm going to call this the fish room because we've got a couple of shots on the fish room because of the fishy sculpture. That's why I'm calling it the fish room. So let's create a new bin. Interior underscore fish room. Now we're going to go from 56, 57 I think is still the fish room, yes. 58 I still think is the fish room. No, we're starting to leave the fish room. But we're still in the fish room. So we've got to decide if we want to make this part of the fish room or part of a different... Actually, no, we're outside of the fish room here. So it's 56 and 57. I thought I had 3 shots in that room. Because remember when I was doing everything, I said I'm going to limit myself to 3 cameras per room. Well, 56 and 50. 56? 56 and 57. If we come across it, we can add it later, if there's any more. So, shot 56. And shot... Actually, I think 55. Let's add these two, 56 and 57. I'm just thinking shot 55 is part of that because that's where we go from the upstairs to the downstairs. But did I add that to the central stair folder? No, I didn't. Okay. And let me double check that that is correct. So shot 57. No, shot 56. Shot 55, I believe it is. Yeah. Shot 55. This is where we start upstairs, but we move the camera down to the fish room. So we could either put this in the main stairwell folder or we could put this in the fish room folder. I think probably the main stairwell folder because it takes in 2 different sections and finishes here. So I think main stairwell folder. So that's shot 55. Do we have that in our main stairwell? Yeah, I did. I added it to the main stairwell, so that's fine. And the fish room has those 2. See, this is why it's so important to be organised because you can even get lost just looking at stuff as you're importing it. So 57 was the fish room. 58 was the fish room. No, 58 is where we're leaving the fish room. going into the dining room. So let's work to the dining room now. INT for interior underscore dine room. I'm too lazy to type the entire word. And we're going to be putting in cameras 58, 59, 60, yes. 61 I think is where we're in the hallway now, yep. So we're going to start at 58 and go up to 59, 60. So shot 58, shot 59 and shot 60. All right, so after the dining room, we go to, what are we going to call this room? This is like the mirror room. I don't know if I've got many shots, so I think there's only one shot here of the mirror. So we might incorporate this into the vestibule room. So from shot 61 to here, from shot 62, we move down to the other angels. So we'll include that in the vestibule room. Make sure I put INT at the beginning. So we're going to be going from shot number, it'll be shot 61, shot 62, shot 63. So 61, 62 and 63. '61, '62, '63. What software am I using, Sniper Echo? I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. So part of the Adobe software suite. Yep, you can get a subscription for it from Adobe. It's great software. I use it all the time for my work. I use After Effects less. Occasionally I use After Effects, but I generally am in Premiere Pro when we're putting together camera work of renders that we do at the studio. Again, I want to point out you don't need to use Premiere Pro if you want to make a cinematic using the Unreal Engine. You can do everything through Sequencer right inside of Unreal. It's just, I'm more familiar with Premiere, and I don't think you can export audio from Sequencer unless Epic have added that in the new version 420 of UE4. I know in 419 and below you can't. Sniper says, did I read that Unreal is working on a direct export to Premiere Pro? I wish that'd be cool. I don't know. I didn't read that. But it would be very cool if they did. But again, you can do all of this right in Sequencer, right inside of Unreal. But Premiere, because it's been around for so many years, decades, and Adobe have done a really good job with the program. So it's a really nice piece of software to use if you do video editing. Sony Vegas is another great video editor, but I've always used Premiere Pro. Sniper says, I need to read through the engine release notes again. I noticed this morning on Twitter, actually, that they posted an update, a preview update, 20.3, I think it is, 4.20.3. I think Epic released that today. But they're preview releases, so they don't recommend you use those for your daily driver if you're creating a project or something, making your game. Stick to the release candidates and not the preview candidates, because the previews might still be buggy. Yeah, but I didn't read through the entire change list in .3 update because it was quite long. But I did notice on the forum they posted about it. So, yep. Sniper says 420.3 went live today. Yeah, I did. I noticed the Twitter post that Epic sent out, but just before I started streaming, I think it was. They're really pushing their updates out, which is good. I'm not complaining. Epic Games are continually upgrading the engine, which is great. That's what we want. We want new stuff. Always new stuff in the software we're using. Okay, so where are we up to? From the vestibule, then I think we move into, we'll call this the lounge room because it has a lounge in it. Makes sense to me. Android Lost says it's only good if you have good internet. Well, I guess that's true. Yep. Like most things in this world now, if you don't have good internet, then you're in trouble. You guys know I've got potato internet 3/4 of the time anyway. I'm still waiting for my proper internet connection. Thank you, government. Taking your time. Because everything's done online now. Like, how did we manage before the internet? That's what I wonder. I mean, how did things get done before the internet was around? Because it's just so useful and we use it for everything. It just seems hard to imagine a time before the internet existed. So we've got shot 64 for the lounge room. Shot 65 is the lounge room. Yes, this is the one where it looked like the candle was flaring up. 64, 65. What is 66? Okay, now 66, we're still in the lounge room and we sweep past the vestibule. So we'll include this one in the lounge room. Smurfberry says you had to use paper before the internet. Oh, no. Paper and pen? No. No. Middle Ages, paper and pen. God, no. I type everything now. Paper, Phil. Paper, Smurfberry says. What's paper? I can't remember the last time I read a book. I shouldn't. That's not a paper book. I read electronic books. I just find it more convenient. Although you don't want to drop your I don't have a Kindle, but you don't want to drop your Kindle in the bathtub or anything like that while you're having a bath. So paper books do still have their place, I guess. A lot of people like the feeling of paper as well when they're reading a book. They like to turn the pages. They like the feel of the paper. So diehards don't like digital media. They like their traditional paper book. Andrew says nothing important was done. That's probably true. What is paper, as Sniper Echo says? Yeah, what's paper? Eh? It's like videotapes. What's a videotape? No one knows what a videotape is anymore because, that went the way of the dodo decade ago. Cassette tapes. People listening to music on cassette tapes. Huh? Savagery. I love the digital age. I love being able to get my movies digitally, read my books digitally. The internet. I can't imagine not having the internet. When I go to my cabin in the woods, I have no technology. So I know what it's like when you've got no access to anything, but I choose to do that. If my net connection goes down and I can't surf the web, I'm antsy. I want to get online because I do so much stuff online. And when it's not working, you realise just how bad things can get. Videotape Sniper, that's right. ICMZ, good to see you, ICMZ. It says, I still watch videos with those giant CD discs. I know the ones you're talking about, yeah. They're really big discs, like a record-sized disc. Remember the old records? Again, something that has made a resurgence with some crowds of people who've gone back to records and playing them on record players. But I know that the video discs you're talking about, ICMZ, because I used to have a player. I don't have it anymore. A video disc player, and the discs are about the size of a record. They look like a huge CD, CD-ROM. They were all the rage because they did give you very good video quality, much better than videotapes. But now we've all moved on to digital downloads and 4K and 8K video. Yeah. Laserdisc, that's it, Smokeberry Barbecue. Thank you very much. You always help me out with the words because my brain doesn't work. Laserdisc. Smokeberry says, we have a Laserdisc player in collection. Yeah, no, Laserdiscs were great. ICMZ just got home. Well, it's good to see you, ICMZ. Thank you for popping in. Yes, and as ICMZ is saying they still watch on those giant CD discs because the picture quality was very good from them. You had good quality audio on them as well. But I don't have my player or anything anymore because I get everything digitally now. I do have Blu-ray player, but even then I prefer to convert my Blu-ray movie into digital and store it on my hard drive as part of my media center. So I don't have to keep changing discs. If I want to watch a movie, I can just load it up with my remote control, don't have to get off the couch because it's all been stored digitally in the media center. Sniper says Laserdisc. Actually don't know that one. Yeah, it was popular amongst the audio video crowd, audiophile crowd. It didn't take off like videotape did. And then after that, we got Blu-rays and stuff, or videos on CD. So, yeah, it was a short sort of life, but yeah, popular. I had a player. What is that? Oh, it's me breathing. Sorry, guys. I can hear this noise. It's when I breathe. It's me breathing that I can hear. It's because I got the earphones in to sort of block my ears so I can hear my breathing. Wow. Smokeberry says, it's like Phil says, it's like a DVD the size of an old vinyl record, yeah. It was very cool. The discs were really interesting to look at even. And yeah, you put them in a player that was like a DVD player, big DVD player. And it used to spin the disc like a CD-ROM or a Blu-rays. But it was huge. Android Lust says, remember portable DVD players? Yes, I do remember them. Was there a portable Laserdisc player? No, Laserdiscs were huge. You couldn't really strap one to your body and jog or anything like you could with a portable CD player because they were big record-sized discs. Big, think CD-ROM, but mega-sized CD-ROM disc, CD disc. But I do remember those portable DVD players, Android Lust. People used to use them jogging, and you jog with them and they'd skip. The disc would skip because of, the vibration of you jogging. It was very funny. That's the other good thing about digital. You don't get any of those problems if you want to take it jogging with you. Smokeberry says, presumably they were larger because they came before DVDs. Yeah, you're right. And the lasers were not as precise, which meant that the tracks of microscopic pits on the disc surface had to be larger for the laser to read. Yeah, I do believe you are right, Smokeberry Barbecue. They did come before DVDs. They were sort of like between CD-ROM, which you buy your music on, and DVD, there was Laserdisc. So CD-ROM, then came Laserdisc, then came DVD, then came Blu-ray. Smokeberry says any improvements in the laser precision allowed a shrinking of the pit tracks so DVDs could be smaller. And then we had dual layer DVDs and stuff, of course, where you had the two layers on top of each other so they could double the storage of a DVD and all that sort of stuff. I have a burner in my PC over here, the streaming machine. I don't even have a player in my main computer, a DVD or Blu-ray player or burner, because I just don't use discs anymore. Everything is digital. So my burner over here is never used. The only time I use my burner is if I want to take a movie I bought on a DVD, a Blu-ray, and convert it to a digital file so I can store it on my media center. And then the Blu-ray gets put back in its case and never used again. And if I want to watch the movie, I play it through the media center. It's just much easier, much more convenient. You don't have to risk damaging the disc if you keep putting it in and out. You don't have to change discs. It's really convenient. And, we've got Netflix and stuff now, so you don't even need to do that if you don't want to. You can watch movies that are streamed. Smurfery says, I have a Blu-ray drive in my PC, but no software to watch the Blu-rays, so I have to rip my Blu-rays in order to watch them. Yeah, because you got to buy software to watch Blu-rays, but because Microsoft, I don't think, put it in the operating system, because then they have to pay a licensing fee to the company that controls the Blu-ray thing. Microsoft wanted to cheap out and didn't want to do that, so they removed Media Center completely from Windows, because Windows 7 used to come with Media Center. This is back in the day, boys and girls. And Microsoft removed it with the Windows 10. I believe you could still get it with Windows 8, but not in Windows 10. But Plex and stuff is much better for a Media Center or Kodi, which is what I use. You don't need Windows Media Center. Spurberry says, on the plus side, I can keep my discs in storage that way so they don't get damaged. Yeah, that's why I do it as well. That and the convenience of just being able to not have to get up to turn a movie on, put a disc in. ICMZ says, I agree. I don't even have a disc reader at all anymore. I just have an exterior put away if I ever need to use a disc for who knows what reason. Yeah, again, the same. My main computer has no burners, no players in it at all. I do have the Blu-ray burner in the Stream PC, and that's only so I can copy my Blu-rays onto the hard drive. See, I never use it for anything else. No point. Everything's digital. Digital's the way to go. So we want 64, 65, and 66. This one is interior lounge room. Android Lost says, I used to use Windows Media Center to burn CDs so I can listen to music on the way to school. Those were the dark ages. Yeah, that's right. Now we've got Spotify and things like that where we can just stream our music if we want to. We don't have to do anything. Now, I don't use Spotify. I don't use any streaming music service. Now, I know I'm probably, in the minority. Most people do. I prefer still to buy my music and keep it on my hard drive and transfer it onto my phone if I want to listen to any music when I'm out and about. So I don't stream music. But not that streaming is bad. Streaming music is great. I just tend not to do it. If I want music, I'll buy it, I'll transfer it to my hard drive, or I'll buy it digitally. And then I'll copy it across to my phone if I want to listen to music. Smappery says, guys, I think I just found a solution to my problem with moving objects in Substance Painter. What was the problem you were having, Smurfberry? What do you mean moving objects? Explain yourself. What problem are you having? Like we were talking about how the zoom in Substance Painter is reversed from most programs. When you think you're zooming in, you're zooming out in Substance Painter. Smurfberry says the problem was you can't do it. But what do you mean moving objects in Substance Painter? You can rotate around your model and stuff. You can't move a sub-mesh, but it's not meant for that. It's only meant to be a painting program, not a modeling program. So I'm not going to chastise Algorithmic for not being able to do that because it was never intended for that. So we're going up to 66. So 64, 65, and 66. Oh. I'm on the wrong one. Here we are. So 64, 65, and 66. Take two. Android Lust says, if you could actually move an object, my mind would have been blown. Yeah, mine too. That doesn't excuse them reversing the mouse wheel function, though. The zooming function. It doesn't excuse Algorithmic for not giving us an option that we can tick in the preferences to invert that so it behaves the way every other program does. Most other programs, anyway. Smurfberry says, yeah, well, I guess they didn't intend for you to be able to paint objects that are right next to each other. You can hide a mesh and you can paint that way. So if you've got two meshes near each other, you can hide one of them so you can paint on just one. Then you can unhide them and hide them, and so you can do it that way. You can't move them, but you can hide and unhide separate mesh pieces. Smepbury says, because without moving the mesh so that they aren't touching each other, it's really stupid. How do you hide a mesh? Oh, now you're going to ask me that. It's been a while since I've been in Substance Painter. How do you hide a mesh? You hide it. You can hide it if you assign a different material ID to it before you import it. So you can hide and unhide through the layer stack, the material texture layer stack. You can do it that way. So if you assign a separate material to different parts of the mesh or to different meshes. Smurfberry says, I don't see anything in the user faces for meshes at all. Smurfberry says, Phil, if it has different material IDs, yes, then that will export as its own texture. Yes, that's true, it will. So two material IDs will have two different textures. That's very true. Is there a way to do it with one? Not using material IDs. I thought you could do it based on UV space as well. So if you have one texture UV'd into different texture UV islands, I thought you could select one of the islands to hide the rest of the mesh. I'm sure you could do that. Smurfberry says you can't export them all to the same texture file. No, which you can do in Mari. I don't know, Algorithmic should put that option in. So if you've got like 4 different material IDs, so 4 different textures, they should make it like Mari, where when you do an export, you can collapse those textures to one. That'd be really handy. Maybe they'll add that, because it's really useful in Mari. I use it all the time when I work in Mari. Smurfberry says, like I'm going to manually combine 60 textures together. No, no way. Well, no, I get that. But I did think that they had the option where you could select a texture group, like a UV island, and hide the rest of the mesh that wasn't assigned to those UVs within the one texture file. I thought that was in there. I haven't used it because I generally don't, my workflow isn't like that, but I'm sure I remember seeing something or reading something about that. So you might want to look that up on Google. So, you know, hiding a mesh based on UV space. I could be wrong. Because, yeah, when I do it, I use different material IDs, so that's how I hide parts of a mesh. But I agree, it would be really helpful if Algorithmic would allow us to combine textures on export into one texture file. Of course, you can do it in Maya, though, Smurfberry. It's an extra step, I know, but you can just do what I showed you guys in Max, where you render out to texture. So just assign a second UV mapping to the object that has like multiple texture maps, and then do a render to texture on a second UV set to combine them all into one. Yeah, I know it's a pain. You shouldn't have to do it in this day and age. They should build that into Algorithmic's Painter so that it can do it automatically. But that's another option. It doesn't make any difference how many textures, Smokeberry. If you do it inside of Maya or Max or Blender, you just assign UVs to a second texture material ID and do a render to texture, and the computer then will take all of those 60 textures and combine them all into one texture map inside of Maya or Blender or Max. You can do that for both for your color map, your normal map, or your speculars as well. Well, I don't call it really specular anymore now, do they, with the new PBR workflow for materials? They've dropped diffuse and specular, and now they call it something else. I can't remember. Metallic. They call it metallic now, yeah. Smeppery says the setup time alone is too much. That's true. You do have to re-UV those 60 objects to one texture map. So yeah, that's true. That is true. That's where programs like the Unfold 3D program I use come in handy, because it does it all automatically. Okay, so we added this one as part of the lounge room. Murphberry says, so the solution I just found is to make a duplicate of all the meshes in the modeling program, okay, and slide them off to the side and explode them away from each other, okay. The original model stays assembled at the 0, origin, and to paint on other parts, you just go off to the side and do the painting there. Because they're all using the same UVs, it gets applied to both models. So that's an interesting workaround, Smurfberry, actually. So you duplicate your 60 object mesh, your 60 piece mesh. You explode it out so it's separated, which you then paint on in Painter, and then you take that painted texture and apply it back to your assembled model. That's an interesting way to do it. That's a good way to do it, actually. ICMZ says, I've been seeing a lot of updates on Ryzen UV lately. It's getting better. Is it getting better, or is it just fixes? It's getting better. It gets better and better by the day. The guy that develops it is updating it, like you said, constantly. But he's adding new stuff. He's improving the algorithms that the software uses to do its automatic unwrapping. No, he's adding stuff as well as making it better. There's some bug fixes too along the way, but mainly adding stuff to it, making it better. It's a great program. I love it. The guy that made it did a great job, because I can just get my UV mapping done so much more quickly, because I hate UV mapping. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's the worst part of doing 3D. It's the most important, one of the most important parts of doing 3D, but wow, is it boring. Mind-numbingly boring doing UV mapping. So if I can get a program to do it for me automatically and quickly, that's the way I want to go. Okay, so this, what are we going to call this room? We'll call this room, we'll call it the sitting room. Why not? Because it's got 2 chairs and a table. Makes sense to me. Interior, INT. Let's open that up. Let us find out how many cameras are in the sitting room. So 67. TJMG, is Substance Painter easy to use? Is asking, is Substance Painter, TJ, I'll call you TJ. Yeah, no, it is. It is quite easy to use. It's a great program. We used it when we made this, when I textured up all the assets that we see that in our Unreal level here, the UE4 building, all of my assets here I painted in texture in Substance Painter. It did the job really well. It did it very quickly, because I used a lot of the built-in, what do they call them? The procedural brushes built into into Painter to add damage and stuff. Like normally I use Mari to do my texture painting, because I like getting in there by hand and doing it. But doing it using they've got a word for it, because I haven't used it for a few months now, I've forgotten. But the built-in brushes that will do it for you automatically that you apply to a mesh. So yeah, it's great. It's a great program. Smeppery says if you've used Photoshop, it's pretty easy to learn. Yeah, it is very similar. That's very much like Photoshop with the layers and that sort of thing as well. TJ says, I use Photoshop to create textures for my models, but I just can't seem to get better. I'm going to try to get better at creating more realistic textures. Photoshop is a great program to use for texturing. If you've got Photoshop and you don't want to spend money on another third-party program, you can do your texturing in Photoshop. That's not a problem. It just, programs like Substance Painter really help speed up your workflow, and it's and making physically based texturing or physically based materials for physically based rendering much quicker and easier, because that's what it was designed for. So if you're making a game, for instance, like and using the UE4 engine like you see here, it can texture up your work really quickly and really easily. And it's easier to work in than, like, say, working in Photoshop, where you've got to keep saving your texture out, checking it in your 3D program, because you can see it. You can see the texture immediately on your 3D model, and you can rotate around your model and paint and stuff as well. So that's why I like using Mari as well, because Mari, you do the same thing. So it's a great program. But certainly using Photoshop and getting better at using just Photoshop is not going to hurt your skill set at all. In fact, it's probably going to help in the long run. If you can learn to do texturing just in Photoshop well, that'll help you when you want to texture using Substance Painter or Mari or whatever. But if you're doing a lot of games sort of work, you can use it for not just games, Substance Painter, but particularly if you're doing a lot of games work, it's really a really good program to have. It'll help you create stuff more quickly, or texture it more quickly anyway. ICMZ says, I tried the trial version and it was great, but once you can auto cut your UVs properly with one button. Yeah, so I don't know if that means you're using it or you trialed it and you decided you didn't want it. But I believe ICMZ is talking about a program that used to be called Unfold 3D. It is now called Rhizome UV. So the guy that created the Unfold 3D program now makes a program called Rhizome UV, and all it does is automatic unwrapping UV mapping for you. It's a godsend. I love it. That one button unwrap, it's just wow. So, I love it because I work at the studio and I've got so much to do. If I can get my stuff, UV mapped like that with one click, then that's the way I want to go, because I don't have time to sit there and unwrap everything by hand. I just don't have the time, most times anyway, and I don't want to. I hate unwrapping. I hate UV mapping. So yes, you guys should check that out. In fact, I'll just open up and I'll pop a link in chat now. Let me just drag this over. Anyone that doesn't know who I am, you can go to my website, phildoes3d.com. You can read up about me there. But Unfold 3D, it's called Rhizome UV now. Just let me load up the page. And I'll pop this link in Twitch chat so you can check it out. You can download a 30-day trial of the software if you do want to see what it's like. It's not outrageously expensive. I mean, it's not like $10, but it's not hundreds of dollars either. So, as Android Lust says, yeah, anything that cuts the time down, I'm up for. It's anything that saves me time is good in my book. And that's, like I said, because I've got so much working for a studio and clients is a pain. It's a pain you have deadlines that you've got to meet, and if you don't meet the deadline, there's all sorts of trouble. So it really benefits you if you have to work to a deadline to get it done quickly. TJ's asking, how does the auto UV mapping work in 3D Studio Max? Yeah, it works pretty well. Max is good. It's interesting. Autodesk bought the rights from the guy that makes this software to incorporate it into Max, but not everything that you get in this software is in Max. But the guy that wrote the algorithm to do the auto unwrapping for this software, Autodesk bought the rights to use that inside of Max's unwrapping. So it's very similar to Max in that way. Oh, you mean Substance Painter? Substance Painter doesn't do unwrapping. Pardon me. No, Substance Painter is just for painting textures on your model. You have to already have them UV mapped. It doesn't do any UV mapping at all. So you have to UV map in your 3D program or in that program I just put a link to. TJ says, I use Max and I hate UV mapping. Yeah, so do I. I use Max too. Max's UV mapping is not unwrapping. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's pretty good. But it's not automatic like it is in that program I just linked to. That program, you just pretty much press one button and it unwraps your mesh for you. It packs it into UV space for you automatically. You don't have to do anything unless you want to. And if you want to, you can get in there and fine tune it. That's why I love it. With Max, it's not quite that simple. Or any other normal 3D program, you pretty much got to fiddle around with your UV mapping. But yeah, no, Substance Painter doesn't do any UV mapping. It's only texture painting. Smurfberry says, posted an image of my solution in Discord. Okay, I see. Oh, yep. Let's check this out because I just want to show you guys what Smurfberry was talking about. Smurfberry is having a problem texture painting different pieces of his model inside of Substance Painter without breaking it up into all separate material IDs. TJ says, is the program that you just linked reliable? Yes, it is very, very reliable for unwrapping. I use it every day as part of my workflow at the studio that I work at. It's incredibly reliable, very good. The best unwrapping program I have ever used. And I've been doing 3D for more than 15 years, so I've used a lot. The one that I just linked to, I found is the best of all of them. There are some other very good ones, but I like this one the most. But you don't need to buy it. You can do all your unwrapping in Max. This program is just for those people that hate UV mapping and want a one-button solution to get it done quickly. Or for people that are under time constraints and deadlines and don't have the time to unwrap manually. ICMZ says, am I the only one here that likes UV? Now, I remember you saying you liked UVing ICMZ. Other people like it too. People like the challenge of rotating and packing UV space and unwrapping a mesh. I'm not one of them. But some people do. Android Lust says, yes, you're the only one, ICMZ. Yeah. No, he says he's kidding. He doesn't mind it either. I don't like it. I'm being completely honest, I really, really don't like unwrapping. I don't like UV mapping. I just don't like it. And I don't have the time to sit there and do it by hand. So this program saves me a huge amount of time. It helps me from being stressed out because I've got a deadline at work and, my mesh needs to be unwrapped. Okay, so this is the mesh, and this is the way Smurfberry breaks up the mesh so he can import it into Substance Painter so he can get to each part of the model to texture paint. And that's a very good solution, actually. He's not changing his UV mapping at all. He's just exploding the mesh. So when he paints on it in Substance Painter and saves his texture out, he's still only got one material ID. That's a really, really smart solution to the problem, Smurfberry. Well done. Yeah, that's an excellent way to do it. You get a 10 out of 10 for that tip. That's a great tip. ICMZ says, once I understand Rhizome a bit better, I'll move to it. I currently just use Hedis. Hedis UV is good as well. Hedis UV is a UV mapping program made by a man here in Australia, or a company here in Australia. which I've used in the past as well. I just don't like their interface. Their interface is very looks like something out of the 80s. They need to upgrade their interface, because you guys know how much I love a good interface and how much I bitch about a bad one. So I like Rhizom's interface. It's nice and clean, easy to use. Whereas Hedis UV's interface is ugly, is the best word. Not that an interface has to be pretty so long as it's functional, but I'd rather use a pretty interface than an ugly one. And I like the algorithms, the automatic unwrapping that Rhizom has. They're very good at doing an unwrap. Smokery says, I unwrap in Maya like a champ. There you go. And again, I don't want you to think you need to use a third-party program. You can do all your unwrapping in your 3D program. It's just going to take a little longer, that's all. TJ says, what if there's a problem with your model? What happens when you try to auto-unwrap it? It'll do its best. If the model has problems, it'll still try and unwrap it for you. It won't crash the program or anything. The program has never crashed on me. It might not be able to unwrap it properly, so you might have to get in there and do some fixing if the model is bad. But it generally does a pretty good job, even on a bad model, at unwrapping. That's Rhizom I'm talking about. Smokeberry says, Hedis is good us. I used to use Hedis before I started using Rhizom. ICMZ says, very true about the interface. Reminded me of Mari when the vomit green color all over the place. Yeah, Mari have updated their interface. This project, after we've finished the cinematic, I'm going to be using Mari to do texture painting, and they've updated the interface with the new version of Mari, so it looks quite nice. I like Mari. But yeah, that green color, wow. This is in Hedis UV we're talking about. Android Lost says, you mean a bad seam or a bad edge loop? I'm trying to work out, or maybe he means overlapping polys or something. Yeah. Yeah, Rhizom will do its best to unwrap the model for you, even if it is bad. I'm not saying that it will do a great job. I mean, it'll try. It does a pretty decent job. But you can always go in and fine-tune it in Rhizom if you want to. If you don't just want the one button unwrap, or you try your one button unwrap and you notice that it didn't unwrap some parts properly, then you can go in there like any 3D program and you can adjust your UVs by hand. But it does a pretty good job 90% of the time, I've found anyway, automatically. You guys that were watching my streams when I was doing the furniture for this cinematic that we're working on, you saw how easy and quick it was for me to unwrap stuff most of the times. Sometimes it had a problem, but most times it was fine on its own. Android Lust says, yeah, it will still unwrap it, but in my opinion, it's a good practice to try to have a clean mesh. I agree. Some auto-unwrapping software will tell you the mesh isn't clean enough to unwrap. Yeah, Rhizom won't do that. Rhizom, I've never come across it saying, this mesh is a mess and I can't unwrap it. It'll try. It will at least try. But some software, Hedis UV will say, no, your mesh is crap and I'm not going to try and unwrap it for you. Rhizom won't. Rhizom will try it. At least that's what I found. But you're always better off starting with a nice clean mesh to begin with in any program, whether it's unwrapping or texture painting or just modeling. TJ says, do you work in the games industry? No, I used to work in the games industry, TJ. I work in the ArchViz industry now. So I worked in games, and then I worked in film, and now I work in ArchViz. So I've worked in 3 different industries, but all as a 3D artist and environment artist, or technical artist as well. So no, I no longer work in games, but I used to. Oh, were you talking to Android Lust? Maybe you're talking to Android Lust. You guys shouldn't be. Look, I don't want to discourage you youngins from your dream. If you want to work in games, I know that before I worked in games, I wanted to work in games as well. But once you work in games, you soon realise that it's not the fantasy you have in your head about working for a games company is not reality. But that's true of any job, really. So I don't want to say to you, hey, Shark, hey, it's good to see you, Shark, how are you? So, yeah, I don't want to discourage you guys and girls from working in the games industry because it can be a great industry to work in. But don't think it's like playing video games all day long, because it's not. There's a lot of work, a lot of work. You've only got to read the stories recently about Rockstar Games. You know how there was a story about how they were working their staff 100-hour weeks, 100 hours a week they were working staff overtime. Whether that, now I don't know if that's true or not, but that was the story. And it's not uncommon in the games industry to have to work long hours to meet a deadline, because that's just the way it is. That's, like I said to Legmog, that's the nature of the beast when you work in games particularly, because you have these deadlines and you've got to work back to get the deadline met. So, but that's the same in a lot of industries, design industries. It's good to see you, Shark. So I don't want to discourage you guys if you want to be in games. That's cool. That's great. I mean, I'm not saying I would never go back to working games. I mean, I may. I don't know. But I'm happy where I am at the moment in ArchBiz. TJ says, I just graduated at university in game development course. Okay. And it depends a lot on the company you work for too. So, you get good and bad companies in every industry, in every field. So I'm not suggesting working for any games company is bad, because there are good games companies too. There's some very bad ones as well. But congratulations on graduating, TJ, from your game development course. Well done. Now you've got to find that job in the games industry if that's what you want to do. And that all boils down to your portfolio. I was talking last year on the stream about guys and girls' portfolios and all that sort of stuff. It's the most important thing to getting a job is your portfolio. Smurfberry says, my new fantasy is retaining absolute control over my own IP. I'm tired of seeing other people ruin the IPs that I love. Ruins everything, cop. EA ruins everything, cop. EA. EA games. Oh, wow. Yes, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, they do ruin everything. I agree. There's no getting around it. They do ruin everything. Shark says, I'm doing great. What about you? No, I'm very well. Thank you, Shark. Yes, no. The guys and girls know I had a head cold last week because I was sent interstate to see a client, and it was the middle of nowhere in the central Australia where it was like 50 degrees Celsius. And then I came back to Melbourne, which was like 16 degrees Celsius. So I got a head cold, but that's pretty much gone now. So I'm good. Thanks for asking. I hope you're well too, Shark. Shark says, I've entered the Feudal Japan Art Station Challenge. I didn't know they were having one. I don't go on ArtStation as much as I should. I should jump onto ArtStation a bit more than I do. So you've entered the Feudal Japan ArtStation Challenge. That sounds cool. So you're going to make an image or something for their challenge in the Feudal Japan style. Android Lost says, Phil said my portfolio was trash and I had too many cards. I did not say that, Android Lost. Don't you put words in my mouth. I did not say that at all. Now, I said at the time, don't fill your portfolios with the same thing. Don't have a portfolio full of cars. Don't have a portfolio full of guns. Have a couple of cars and a couple of guns, but you want to show an employer you've got a range. You can do more than just cars and guns. Maybe when you get a job, all you're going to do is make cars and guns, but an employer wants to see you can make a lot of different things. That reassures them that if they hire you and they need something that's not a car or a gun, you can make it. That's all I was saying. Just don't fill your portfolio full of one thing. You're cheating, Android Last. That's not what I said. Putting words in my mouth. Smurfberry says, oh yeah, what you going to do for the challenge show? Shark says, it's summer there now. It's summer where I am now in Australia. We're going into summer. Yep. Yeah, so yep, we're coming up into summer. We're still in spring, but we're coming into summer soon. Android Loss says, I thought you thought of doing the challenge as well, Android Loss. Okay, cool. I'll have to check out what this challenge is. I see. Yeah, don't post links in Twitch chat, guys, unless you're a sub to the channel, but you can post links on the Discord server. So if you want to post a link to someone and you're not a sub, join the Discord server there and post on Discord, because you'll get timed out either by Sniper Echo or Nightbot. So sorry about that, Shark. Smurfberry probably won't see the message you posted. Post it in Discord, and Smurfberry can answer there. So my apologies there, Shark. I'm sorry Nightbot is a little bit rude at times. Yeah, no, again, my apologies for you guys and girls that want to post links in Twitch chat. I've made it so only subs can do it because I have to give my subs some reason to sub to me, apart from my outstanding sparkling personality. And that's one of the perks that subs get is they can post links. But everyone can post links on Discord, so don't think if you can't afford to sub or you don't want to sub or you don't have to sub. You can post links to your stuff in Discord. And I always see Discord. It's always open here as well as Twitch chat, so don't think I won't see your messages. And I'm on Discord probably more than I'm on than I stream, so keep that in mind. Too many different Twitch streams. Shark says, yeah, no, I get that. Smeppery says, I'm in IRC. I got the link. Oh, okay. You got the link, Smurpery. You might have got the link because yeah. I think you might have got the link because you're special, Smurpery Barbecue. I might have made an exception for you, I think. I think you can actually post links in Twitch chat. Because you're one of my very first viewers, Sniper Echo and Smurpery Barbecue, were amongst the first people to ever watch me streaming on Twitch when I started. So, ICMZ says, I almost applied for Rockstar. Okay, but then I got a job somewhere else. Rockstar would probably be a cool company to work for, provided the stories of them working their staff 100-hour weeks aren't true. But that'd be good for you to have on your resume, for sure, saying you worked at Rockstar. Smurfberry says, no, it's because Twitch can't delete the links from the IRC chat room. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Wow. That's news to me as a streamer. I didn't know that Twitch couldn't delete the links or that Nightbot couldn't. Because I see the links because I'm the moderator. Like, I'm the owner of the channel, so I can see the links that Shark posted. I just know you guys in Twitch chat wouldn't see it, but Smurfberry says because he's on IRC, he could see it. There you go. But you don't need to even worry about it because, like I said, everyone can post links in Discord. I see Discord, it's always open, so... Shark says, the Better Twitch TV plugin lets you see deleted messages too. Oh, here you go. Again, I haven't used the Better Twitch TV plugin. I'm familiar with it, but I don't use it. But you can use emotes and stuff through Better Twitch TV than other emotes that you can't use on Twitch chat. So, and me as a streamer, I could put up more emotes than the 3 that Twitch give me as an affiliate. I could add 10 more, I think, on Better Twitch TV if I wanted to. But I just don't want to force people to have to use Better Twitch TV if they don't want to. So that's why I don't use it. But it's a good plugin. Smebbery says, IRC doesn't have a function for removing messages. Well, that's interesting. Again, I'm not right up on IRC, Internet Relay Chat. All I know is it works when I want to see my chat here. I've never really looked into how it works or why it works. So long as it works, I'm happy. The Shark says, I use it for that. Yeah, the emotes, yeah. Yeah, because I know you can You can, as a streamer, if I wanted to use better Twitch TV, I could add more emotes than Twitch give me as an affiliate if I wanted to. The reason I don't, though, like I said, is because I don't want to force people into installing a plugin to be able to use my emotes. At least until or when Twitch make me a partner. We'll see what happens. I haven't applied for partnership, I'm just saying. Okay, so I think there might only be 2 cameras. The third camera for this room is leaving the room, so it's going to be 67 and 68. Shot 67 and 68. All right, and from shot 68, we then go to shot 69, which is where we start to leave the building. Yes. So I think I'm going to call this part of the building back. So we have front building, and so we're going to have back building. Back building video. And in that, I needn't have these headphones on. I probably have my music going again because I'm not using any audio at the moment. In that, we are going to put shot 69, shot 70, which is where we pan across the building. And then we go into the bunny rabbit. So 69 and 70. And I'm also going to put shot 73 into the back part of the building, because that's the very last shot we're going to be using, where we look at the side of the building, but it can go on the back of the building. So this shot here. Yeah. We'll add that in the back. So shot, 69, 70 and 73. So shot 69, shot 70 and shot 73. Okay, we need one more camera, one more bin folder, and that's going to be for the bunny rabbits. So we're going to call it... I'm just looking at my other folders. Okay, so we'll call it bunnies video. Like I said, the bunny shots, they're not great. The animation on the models isn't great. I didn't do the animation. We'll bring it in, and I'm sure we can make use of it though, in some way, shape or form. At least part of it anyway. Okay, now when we saved out all of our shots here, we saved out slow motion versions of some of these cameras. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to use any slow motion, but I want to bring the footage in to have the option as we're putting our cinematic together. If there's a section I think might be cool if we slowed it down or sped it up, I'll bring in the slow motion versions as well. But I'm not going to. I can either bring them into their subfolders. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a new bin, and I'm going to call it all slow motion. So I'm just going to bring in all of the slow motion video into one bin, because odds are I'm not going to use most of it. So I don't want it polluting the rest of my folders. So now all we have to do is go through and import the slow motion versions. Not every shot has a slow motion version. A lot do though. So all of these 60 frames per second video pieces are slow motion. and me keeping them in their own separate folder or bin, like I said, just helps stop them from polluting up all my other shots, considering I'm probably not going to use most of these shots, or if I do, I'm just going to use bits and pieces of them anyway. And you and you. Just catching up with Discord while that's importing. Smurfer is talking about his workflow there, so do check it out. It looks like a great way to actually get around that problem in Substance Painter. I didn't run into the problem because I kept everything on their separate material ID, so I had 3 textures. But it's a great way if you want to make sure you only work with one texture. And there we have all of our slow motion footage in its own folder. So it's easy and quick for us to find it if we need it. Odds are most of it we won't need. If we do, it's only going to be specific shots here and there. And it doesn't pollute the rest of our shot folders. You can see, I don't know if you can see that on the stream, it's probably being hidden behind my music player there. There's a bar down the bottom here which is Premiere conforming all of these tracks, so it can work in the background. You can keep working while it does that. Okay, so we have our music subfolder, our sound effects subfolder, our graphics, and then we've got our video broken up into each separate bin. I'm going to rename the 5th audio track, which you can see there. It says Audio 5 at the moment. I'm going to rename that to Music, because that's going to be the track I lay the music track down on. And Video 5 at the very top I'm going to rename to Letterbox, because that's going to have the Letterbox graphic on it. And it's at the very top because that means it will go over every other, any other layers we place, it will always be on top of it. Just like Photoshop. You know, the top layer goes on top of everything below it, or covers up everything below it. It's the same in Premiere, it works the same way. So the audio track at the very bottom for the music, and the letterbox graphic at the very top for letterboxing. And that gives us 4 video tracks and 4 audio tracks we can work with in between. So we've got the sound effects, we've got the music, we've got the video. We've renamed our 2 tracks. Let's do a save all. Save. I think we're ready to go now. So on Monday next week, we're going to start laying our tracks down and laying our music down and laying our sound effects down. We're good to go. Although I do want to thank you guys though very much for being here and for hanging out with me and watching. I do appreciate it. Thank you for popping into chat too and saying hi and asking your questions, because I love interacting with you guys and girls. That's the whole reason I'm on Twitch. It's always more fun when there's someone to talk to in chat. And you guys are very good. You always talk to me, so I appreciate that as well. I hope you guys and girls have a great weekend. I will be back live again on Monday next week, and we can start the week afresh with laying down our video and our audio tracks for our final cinematic. No more UE4 work, it's all Premiere work now. We should get it knocked out hopefully over the next couple of... I've allowed today and 2 streams next week to finish it, so with a bit of luck we'll finish the cinematic next week on Monday and Tuesday. Now that everything's laid out, organised and ready to go. Yes, I'll see you all again hopefully on Monday next week. 5 PM Pacific is when I'm live next. The Premiere catch-ups should go live over the weekend, providing I can upload the video to Twitch. I'll try and do that after the stream, and I'll post to Twitter if I can't or if I can. But thank you guys and girls very much for being here, for watching and for hanging out. You guys and girls have a great weekend, and hopefully I'll see you on Monday next week. See you guys.